Hey there YouTube, this is Thracker84 here, and I'm finally getting back into reviews. Um, Now, it took me a little bit of time to decide what I would actually do for a review, mainly because, I've got so much choice now with how much I bought at TF Nation. It's like, I've got plenty of figures that I can review, but there are certain few figures that I'd like to save for something special that I'm working on. Something I'm working on with Jack, also known as Toner Reviews. I'm working on something with him, which I will probably do a little bit of an announcement for in the next week or so, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see how this goes. So at TF Nation, I decided to myself that I wasn't really bothered about Titans Return stuff. Like, I figured that, I could get them at retail if I really wanted them. But then I saw how much they were at retail, and it now seems like deluxes are 20 quid at retail, which, it's going a bit downhill, let's say, but, uh, that's beside the point. At TF Nation, other deluxes were fairly cheap compared to retail prices. They were all like 15 quid, I think. So I don't think it was that bad paying that much for it, seeing as at retail they're 20 quid. So I wasn't that bothered about Titans Return to start with. I mean, I didn't mind the look of Hardhead. Hardhead looked quite cool. I quite like the look of the Chrome Dome, but I'm still adamant on getting the TFCC one, the repaint of TF Prime Wheeljack. But at TF Nation, as you already saw, I bought a Hardhead. Now, after, messing around with this figure, playing around with it for a little bit, transforming it a couple of times, getting used to the figure, I feel like I really like it. I really like this figure. It is a nice toy. I mean, I think it's quite a step up from some of the previous figures we've gotten, like, say, from like the Age of Extinction figures. I'd say this is a step up in terms of the engineering of it, and I think actually the plastic quality seems pretty good compared to what we've gotten recently with like Combiner Wars. The plastic quality is really good when you'd kind of expect, seeing as plastic's going up in price, and obviously you have to increase the price of your Transformers toys. Like, you'd expect to kind of like a less amount on quality for the plastic, but I think the plastic's still good. I think it's really good. It's a little bit thin in places, but I think it's still good. It's still solid enough. It's got a lot of detail for the figure it is as well. I mean, you can see, I doubt you can see it, but there's a lot of detail on the front where the chest is, and there's like a lot of like just moulded in detail. There's no painted details really, and I have no idea if those Autobot logos are painted or whether they're stickers or something. I have no idea, or whether they're printed on. I have no idea really, but no, I think plastic quality is good, detail's good enough for what it is. I like how they've become a lot more gimmicky, and there's a lot more versatility. It's like, because you've got these the Titan Master things. This is Hardhead. I can't remember what his name is, to be honest. I mean, I'm never gonna display him on my shelf and not call this figure Hardhead just because of this thing. I've no idea what its name is, but oh well. And he can sit in that cockpit. But what's really cool is if you have another one like the Titan Masters that they're releasing. I haven't got any of those yet, but I don't know if you can do this with any other ones, but it's mainly with this one. He can sit in the cannon thing on his tank, which I think that's really cool. So if you wanted to, you could have this guy like sitting in the cockpit, and then have Chrome Dome's headmaster, or maybe just one of the Titan Masters sitting in the cannon, shooting people. It's like, I think that's really cool. I think that's it is quite gimmicky, but I really like that about it. I think it's really smart, it's really clever, and allows a lot more playability with it. Like, you get a lot more sense of, these are still more aimed at kids now. I think Hasbro are branching more into kids stuff now, which, you know, I can understand that. It's fine. It doesn't really bother me too much, because I still plan on buying most of the older stuff, which is more aimed at just general collectors rather than specifically kids. But these, I think, from a kid's point of view, which I am still kind of a kid at heart, this has got a lot of playability, you know. I mean, you can have, yeah, like I said, you can have one in the cockpit and one in the gun, you know. It's fairly straightforward, and you can obviously mix and match with the heads and the bodies to create new characters almost, you know. Obviously it'll still be the same base figure, but with a different head, it might make it a sort of different character. You know, it'll make it somewhat more varied in your playstyle. Yes, the guns, it's just moulded plastic, but I think it's still good. I think it's still nice. I still like it. Yeah, the transformation, again, it's pretty straightforward, and it's what I've noticed with a lot of new figures, that they have become more simple, but I like that about it. It's like I like having one transformer, let's say Masterpiece Wheeljack, that takes maybe 3 or 4 minutes to transform. Then you've got this guy who maybe takes 30 to 40 seconds. You know, it's like, it's nice to have a transformer where you can just transform it like in no time, and you've got a robot. And then if you want to see the car mode again, or the truck mode, or the tank mode, as in for Hardhead, you know, 30 seconds later, boom, you've got a tank. I think that's really clever. I really like how transformation is a lot simpler. But yes, let's get on to the robot mode. So I think we can all agree that tank mode is pretty cool. You know, I think it's really cool. I personally really love it. I think it's a really great vehicle mode, and it's, from my standpoint, it is quite accurate to how he looked in the cartoon or the anime, whichever. I can't remember if Headmasters was an anime or whether it was just a cartoon or whatever. I have no idea. I can't remember if it was Japanese or not. I think it was Japanese, so yeah, I think it's an anime. But this robot mode, I love it. I love this robot mode. It's just, it's so it looks really clean. It looks so detailed as well. Like, you get a lot more of the details coming out. Like, on the front of his legs, you've got the treads. Granted, they still have the red wheels there. You know, it's not much of a big deal. It's not much of a problem for me. Exactly. I mean, I still think it looks really cool. The crotches, I don't know if that's painted or whether it's just, I don't know, that's red plastic. I'm assuming that's yellow plastic. But yeah, it's all painted very well. It's got 3 Autobot logos. Logos? One on each shoulder and then one down on the bottom of his torso. One thing I see, I'm still loving this whole Titan Master thing. It's like, you've got the cannon thing, which goes over on his shoulder. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to go, or whether it is supposed to go there. I don't know. Is it supposed to go on the top? I'm not sure. I've never looked at a picture of... no, I have looked at a picture of Hardhead, just not in a while. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to go there, or whether it's supposed to go on the back. But like I said, like, there's a lot of playability. So you can have that open. So, let's say, just pretend he has a head. You know, you can have one guy sitting in the gun, still, you know, and he can be shooting people while Hardhead's shooting someone else. Bang. But you know, it's really fun. It's a really fun toy. I can't really say that much more about it. It's just a really fun toy. Like, I'm not going to be complaining about Titan Return or Time Masters or anything like that. I'm not complaining that the fact that they're a little bit simpler, or they're more aimed for kids, or they're, you know, like, the plastic's not as full on as, say, Drifty. You know, it's like it's not as solid as Drift or whatever. Like, I'm not going to be complaining about that. I think these toys are more aimed for kids. That's clear. That's obvious. But I still love that. Speaking from myself specifically, like, as a more of an adult collector, I still love this toy, and I think it's an amazing toy. I think it's absolutely amazing. Like, the the level of detail on him, I think, just the overall appearance of him is just really nice. Now, the articulation's okay. I mean, you know, he's got the head. I think with the head swivel is like, it's he has a head swivel obviously, and it does move, like, rocks up and down a bit. But that's because of the Titan Master head, because the connector thing, it connects to the Titan Master's head. So his head has basically got the same articulation as the Titan Master's head, because it's just the same joint. So it rocks side and side, up and down, and it just moves. Shoulders are okay, arms not too bad. No waist swivel, but I think I can let that one go. You know, legs are good, feet don't really move, they just tuck in for the transformation, you know. Nothing special, but I don't think you need a massive amount of articulation with this toy. I mean, it's a brilliant toy. I can't really fault it that much. I mean, sure, it has a few little problems here and there, like I've heard a lot of people say they have problems with Hardhead and like many of the Hasbro releases of the Titans Return, like Deluxes and Voyagers, like with Galvatron and stuff. Like, I think most people say that they've had problems with their headmasters, like the head has snapped into the joint or something. I've heard some people say that, but no, I haven't had any like problems like that yet. But you know, I think it's a good toy. I think it's really nice. I think it's really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about Hardhead. If you can pick up Hardhead anywhere that's not 20 quid, like if you can find one on eBay for a decent price, I'd say definitely go for it. I think it's a really cool toy. I think it's really worthwhile. I wouldn't say it's worth 20 quid. Seeing as the Takara ones were about 20 quid or 25 quid at TF Nation. So if you want to pay that much for it, get the Takara one, because the Takara one still looks good. I'm still thinking about getting the Takara one and then just selling my Hasbro one, because I really do like the Takara one. The colours look a little bit better. But just for a standard Hasbro release, I think it's really cool. I think it's really good. It's not too bad on the detail front, just the paint apps and just the colour scheme just looks good overall. I think the green might be a little bit too light, but that's just my personal preference. I don't know whether that's accurate or not to Headmasters, but the green's a little light for me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and take care.